So.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Sauce.
Check. You got all Brian's info and
No.
all that good stuff. Nice.
He has it, but he's not going to read it from there anyway.
Why?
I'll read it. Yeah, I'll read it. It's gonna be difficult. Well, no wonder you can't read it, dude. It's all over the place.
Yeah, I didn't hear it. Oh, look.
Dude, he's got the info like.
It's all over, yeah.
I'm like, wait, what? What?
Hold on, let me see. Let me do this.
3 down. Let's try this here. Sí.
Windows.
Alright, turn my sound down.
You always put their info in the description, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Ah, there we go. Hey, look at that.
Oh, someone's meant. Okay, I see. Cool. I think it's on.
Yep.
Nice. How do you do the chatting on here? Oh, no?
I'm signed in on the chat already.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. I'll watch it.
Watch
You know what? I want to see what this is like with ice.
Oh, yeah. I gotta finish this.
It's weird because it's not as sweet as I thought it would be for being a. Is it a bourbon or is it a?
I don't. It's a weeded.
No, it's a whiskey. So who knows what the.
It's like an American whiskey.
Yeah, so it's not. Who knows? The percentage of corn might be pretty low because it's not as sweet as I thought it would be for a weeded bourbon.
Yeah.
At first, it kind of seems kind of sweet, but then.
Well, it smells stronger than it is too. There's that.
Yeah.
It's either that or we're just getting used to drinking stronger drinks.
You know what? I like it with the ice.
It's fresher? Does it narrow it down or?
Oh.
Try mine before you add ice to yours because you might not like it. I don't know.
Hello. Oh, there we go.
Ooh.
I think it wakes it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Gives it a different taste?
It's brighter.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say it is. Here, try it.
It's definitely brighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely ice for this. And see, the smooth Ambler, I like it better.
That changes it like crazy.
Right?
Yeah, it's really good.
That's strange.
And the smooth Ambler was like, you put the ice and it was, I like the better.
It changed it kind of the other way.
It was still good though, but I prefer it.
Yeah, but it's crazy because.
And this, I mean,
yeah, this is
ice?
This is definitely better with ice in my opinion.
Yep, I agree.
Distilled from grains. That's what it says in the back.
Oh,
Yeah.
grains. Is that whiskey zombies or what?
Grains. Yeah. They have see, you know what? It's weird because I was watching their distillery tour.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of different like spirits that they do.
I saw that, yeah.
Not just whiskey, but I guess it makes sense. Like we've said before, like it takes them a while to kind of get started and make money.
It's the first distillery in Las Vegas since Prohibition. The first legal one.
In Nevada.
Oh, yeah, Nevada. Oh, that's right, statewide. Yeah. It's crazy. First legal distillery.
Let me have a little bit.
No.
A little bit?
Por favor. No.
Nada más un chingo. Échale.
No.
There was no little bit.
Yeah. No. This is. I think with ice, this is. Ay, mira.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's one of those fucking weeks, man.
5.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, should we start the recording?
Yeah. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Whiskey Talk with Three Dudes, episode 43.
Hey, guys. So this episode is brought to you guys by Brian Mason at Gavel Law Firm, Juan Aguirre team at Remax, and Fast, Simple, and Sold. Of course, all that information is going to be in the description below, so check them out, man. They provide awesome services.
Yep.
So, yeah. So what are we drinking today, guys?
Today we're having the wheat whiskey from Las Vegas Distillery. Picked this up when I went to Front Sight. I was coming back, and I stopped at I was kind of driving back, taking the scenic route, and found a liquor store that had a few different ones. They actually had a couple of different ones there. Now, if I really think about it, I also probably should have picked up the other one, the 7 grain, which they had there, which would have been interesting, I think. They're out of Henderson, Nevada. I think they were founded in 2011. Was their first distill, and they're the first distillery in Nevada, the legal distillery, we should say.
Since Prohibition.
Yeah. So, pretty cool story. A guy from Romania, historic Transylvania, mind you. A guy named George.
Rax.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the pronunciation of his last name. It's R-A-C-Z.
Yeah, but I'm going to call him Rax.
Rax.
We're going to Rack City, bitch.
Yeah, so we can go to Rack City and go check it out. I was watching their distillery tour. Really small distillery, man. I mean, they're still, at least at the time of the filming of the video, it looked like a pretty small operation to the point where they even mentioned that they had a distillery school. And I looked into that, and it actually looks pretty interesting.
We should go to class.
Yeah, it looks pretty interesting. They what they would do is, I don't know if it's at the end of the class, or I mean if there's some aging, or I don't know what happens, right? But obviously, you go through, I think, their distilling process, and at some point, you end up with a bottle of the one that you distilled.
Oh, that's nice. That's awesome.
So I don't know. It's something to look into. I looked into it, and it's actually, for what it is, it seems fairly inexpensive. But their website is kind of out of date, so we'll need to find out more information.
I was looking at it earlier. They have pretty much no information of the founder or stuff like that. You probably
no, there's not a whole lot of information. I mean, at least from what I gathered in the video, the guy's story is fucking badass. I mean, he moved. He lived in New York City for a little bit. Then he moved to Las Vegas, and they started the distillery, man.
Wow. That same year. Dream, man.
Hey, they make gin and stuff like that.
They make gin and vodka, yeah.
Typically, distilleries start off making gin.
Because it takes them.
it takes so long.
It takes them 2 weeks to be able to put sell a bottle of vodka. Yeah. Whereas a bottle of bourbon, it's taking at least 2 years, or at some of the other ones, it takes you longer depending on what you want to do. So pretty cool story on the guy. Really fucking cool. I that's why I kind of want to go out there and kind of support this guy, because
support small businesses.
Yeah, I mean, to move from Romania, to come here and follow his dream.
Yeah.
In the coolest way possible of providing delicious beverages for everybody.
That's right.
Not just that, but providing jobs for the locals too. I mean, that's part of the beauty of opening up a business.
Of course.
Just helping your community.
You support small business owners, and it often seems that immigrants are mostly the ones that take advantage of the American dream, which is being an owner.
Yeah, I think it's easy to see why, if you really think about it, though. I mean, it's because you kind of like to come over here, you sacrifice so much.
Right.
You leave everything behind. So you kind of have to take advantage of that. Where a lot of the stuff, I mean, it seems that a lot of people take, just being born here and having all these opportunities, they kind of take it for granted.
Exactly. It's like Joey G says that immigrant mentality. Yeah, that survival mentality. Because honestly, I think here we're more programmed to be employees. If you think about school-wise.
Oh yeah, we have a 9 to 5, and that's cool. When we go in, and then we have lunch, and then we go out, and then that's it.
Yeah. But overall, in the whiskey, it actually smells quite a bit stronger than it is.
Yeah.
It's bottled at, I want to say 90 proof. Let's see. 80 proof, yeah. So 80 proof. It smells strong. It doesn't really taste it. It's actually kind of, it's toned down a little bit. There's not a whole lot going on. You can tell it's a weeded whiskey. Some of the bread, kind of the bread flavors. To me, it seems like it may be kind of a I didn't really get like, oh, this is a weeded bourbon. Like, it didn't taste sweet like a sweet bourbon to me. No. Until we added the ice. Like, more of the flavors kind of, it opened up. Like, there was a lot more. There's a lot more there in terms of flavors and just overall enjoyability. In my opinion, this is something that if I had bought it again, which would be pretty hard to do because
it's in Vegas.
There's limited distribution.
I think the only reason I would go to Vegas is for this.
Yeah, and they're actually not in Vegas. They're in Henderson, which is about 25 minutes from the Strip. But
tomato.
Yeah, Henderson is not a bad area actually. No. I mean, I knew some people who live there, and it's funny because in talking to him, he was basically like, yeah, like we go into like into town, I guess, in the to the Vegas area. They go every once, but very rarely. I was like, that's probably a good thing. I would imagine having it that close. It's the equivalent of us going to the Indian casinos. Even those are farther. But we don't go to Temecula and stuff.
Yeah. So often. I learned today there's some science behind that. When you add water, it breaks up the oils and
brings them to the top.
Brings out Yep. So there's that, and I think that's what's happening here. I just love the taste of wheat.
It's more present in this one when we put the water in than the other.
Yeah.
I think.
It seems like in the other ones when we put water, raspberry ones.
Right.
Well, no, actually, it's brought out like more of the alcohol for me. Like it's like.
Well, it did for the smooth amber last time.
Yeah.
It made it a lot stronger.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's weird because it before the ice, like there wasn't a lot of the sweetness there from the corn, but now there is. Yeah. I don't know. I really enjoy this. I definitely pick this up again.
Definitely.
That's good.
And it would lead me to pick up some of their other stuff. Like I said, that 7-grain whiskey that they were talking about, that sounds interesting. So they did 51% corn on that, and then they did 8% of, the remaining 6.
Nice.
So it seemed interesting.
So how much was this bottle? Like, what's the cost?
Oh, geez. I want to say it was probably like around $40. I don't think it was very. I don't think it was very expensive at all.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good stuff, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. If it would have been like $50 or $60, I don't know that I would have taken a chance on it. But it was kind of cool. It's like, it's a Vegas distillery, and I from the trip to Vegas, I was like, yeah, why not?
Okay, maybe I'm tripping or I'm getting a stroke, but is it kind of salty?
Salty?
No, it's there. Yeah.
The saltiness, right?
A little bit.
Is there more sodium in the water in Nevada, do you think?
I don't think so. Yeah, not.
Is it the desert air? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The one thing that they also noted is that in the tour, the video that I was watching, is that given their high temperatures, stuff's different there, right?
Right. Yeah.
Their fermentation process takes 3 to 4 days, where other places it takes a little bit longer. But they're like, as far as the penetration for the whiskey in the barrel, he showed kind of a side by side between a 16-year-old Scotch, which obviously has a cooler climate,
right?
Yeah.
And
it's more
and his
too.
and the weather changes more, right? There's more defined seasons. Whereas there, I think he had another stave off of a 2 to 2.5 year barrel, and there was more like the line of where it went up to was actually like a little bit more. So obviously, I guess the aging process and the way that it interacts like that is also sped up. Some other special stuff going on because of the desert weather. So it's a pretty interesting place. Like I said, I think I'd really like to check it out if I'm ever in the area. Or maybe just take a trip out there specifically for that.
Let's do it, dude. Let's take a road trip and do that.
Yeah. Only 2 hours? Or 3 hours, actually.
It's close enough. I mean, yeah, it'd be worth exploring to see if it's something
that would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's just a day trip, right?
Right.
Just go out there during the day, spend the night, come back the next day.
We'll need a designated driver though.
Uber.
Yeah, once we get there, Uber that shit.
Yeah.
Well, fuck it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, fucking if we're gonna spend the night, fucking go
Might as
to the
well
hotel
Uber.
and an Uber from the hotel.
I call dibs on the bathtub.
All right. If you wake up with a missing kidney, then
That's fine. As long as I put ice in there and be considerate, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good, man. It's, you know what blows my mind is like, so this is gonna be like a stoner thought type thing. Like, the fact that there's like, there's an infinite possibility as to like how many flavors and smells there in whatever drink, or depending on weather conditions, and it's not always the same conditions.
No.
Right.
Never
Right.
the same conditions, and that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. Like,
Yeah. I mean, even in like between the same distillery and I mean, the single barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you like the single barrel, like maybe you get another one of a different barrel, and it might not be exactly the same.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that unique. It's 53 gallons of
You know what we didn't notice? Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
But
you're
you
good.
know when we were drinking the Nika coffee?
Uh-huh.
And we had different bottles?
Yeah.
But the taste didn't really change that much.
Not a whole lot, no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we were talking about the different strains and stuff like that, so I don't know.
I don't know. It was
Said strains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It went from being from. I mean, the one bottle was delicious, the next bottle was delicious. So, I mean, it's that same thing, right? Is that they they can play around a little bit with the different proportions of what they're doing within their own distillery to still keep it a single malt or a single grain, that sort of thing. That is the one thing that I think I want to check out, and I haven't seen that too often, is that there's the pink bottle, which is the pink label, which is their single grain,
Right.
but they also have a single malt, which is like the yellow, kind of a yellow label. I don't think I've seen that around as often.
No,
No, that one, I haven't seen that often.
I always see that one.
Yeah, I only see the pink label.
Do you think they donate to the breast cancer foundation?
No, it's
No.
not the same color. It's kind of like a salmon color. It's not actually like pink.
salmon.
So
Got it.
yeah.
You know, it's funny how we were talking about distillery and different temperatures or whatever. I
Yeah.
have a coworker that does his own distillery, but she does beer.
Oh,
And she
okay.
does it only in the winter. She
So-
doesn't do it in the summer.
So brewery, like it's
Yeah.
winter ales or whatever.
Yeah, it is, because she said that's the best temperature to do it when...
Well, I mean, here at least, yeah, it's
Yeah.
more stable. It's more, you can control for it more. Like, if it's too cold, you put on your heater and you can maintain that temperature.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I mean, look at the weather's been here the last, 3 days. It's been pretty inconsistent.
I know.
It's been
I've been
inconsistent
down.
for the past fucking
Fucking
months.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. Speaking of inconsistent weather, just went to, I was in Florida for work.
I love
How
Miami.
was the heat?
It wasn't too hot. The worst part is that it was humid, and the weather was changing like every 15 minutes.
It does that.
Yeah, like it was crazy. I was sitting because I was doing some training, and there was a door that I could see outside, and then I would just like the sun would come out, and then it would start raining, and then it would like get overcast, and it was like every 15 minutes that shit was changing. So then you'd go outside, and it was just miserably freaking humid, and it was terrible.
You know, I liked what part of Florida were you in?
I was in Fort Myers.
Fort Myers. See, I've never been to Oscar Myers.
Yeah.
I went to Miami.
Yeah.
It was just nice. It was,
Yeah, I've never been there.
I never been to Florida.
I liked it.
There wasn't a whole lot to do where I was at, except for eat, and even that was kind of hilarious. A coworker was there for the first couple of days, and we went to a restaurant there that had pretty good Yelp reviews, and she couldn't decide between the crab cakes or the country fried steak, and she asked the waitress, she's like, what should I get? The waitress was like, oh, that's a tough choice. She's like, I'd probably go for the country fried steak. So she orders that, right?
Yeah.
And the plate gets to us, and it was fucking massive. Like the servings, I mean, it's just ridiculous, right? Like I had ordered a 16-ounce ribeye,
Yeah.
and I got that, and it was good. I mean, at least with steaks, like the ounces, about how much food you're gonna get, like for the servings, right? Their sides were good. I had a sweet potato casserole, and what else did they have? Whatever, I don't remember. I don't remember what else I had, but it was just like. It was like comically huge, to the point where it was actually, we discovered that once, like it was actually 2 pieces, but one of those pieces would have been enough to feed a fucking grown ass man.
Fuck.
And then she was like, oh, like, you know, she was like, oh, you should try it. And I was like, fuck, like I was curious about it, so I tried it and it was good. I started eating it. Dude, I got so full, I didn't fucking eat breakfast the next day. Like that's how full I was.
Fuck.
I was like, I was stuffed, dude. It was crazy.
Fuck, you put in work.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy, dude. But it was good. And it was just comical. Like we were just laughing. We were like, dude, like they should give you a warning or some shit. Like, cause the price wasn't a warning. The price was a normal, like, you know,
like decent prices. Like,
yeah, like it was alright. Like I think it was like $16. I was like, okay, for country fried steak at a place that's nice. Like I would expect that. But it was fucking huge. And then when we saw it, we're like, because we were considering ordering frog legs because they had that.
Oh, frog legs are so good.
And then we were like, you know what? Like maybe next time, like if we come back, because I was there for more time, so I was gonna go back there.
Yeah.
And then I was like, dude, good thing we didn't order. Like we wouldn't even touch the food. Oh, I had a side salad. The side salad was good too. It was a good, pretty decent size. And then like we after like fucking battling this thing, we were like, dude, we told like this looks like something that they would give you in a contest. Like if you finish this in fucking 15 minutes, like you get it for free or whatever.
Put your picture on the wall.
Yeah,
man versus food type shit.
Yeah, I was like, dude, we fucking lost. And then like they come back, and then like she sees that we have like 3/4 of the fucking plate there, and she's like, "Did you guys say room for dessert?" We just started laughing.
Oh God, they had the audacity.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
And then so I went back the next day, and my choice was kind of between the pot roast and the steak. So I got the steak. Because I mean, you can't go wrong with the steak, right?
Yeah, you can't.
So I got,
sometimes they really suck at making steaks.
Yeah, that's true.
It depends where you go to.
That's true. So I next day I went back and I got the pot roast, and the reason we went is because like we saw in the Yelp pictures, one of the desserts they had, that they had a red velvet cake that looked really good, and I got it, and it was the absolute worst red velvet cake I've ever had.
Was it dry?
It wasn't dry. It tasted weird. There wasn't like the flavor was just not right. Like there was.
It wasn't flavored.
It tasted. You know what it tasted like? It tasted like raw masa.
What?
Yeah.
That stuff's delicious.
Yeah, it was fucking. It was weird as fuck, and I was like,
for weeks.
Yeah, it just tasted like raw masa. I was like, dude, like how do you fuck this up this bad? I was like, no, I'm done.
Wow.
I was gonna go back because there was other desserts there that looked good, but I was like, no.
You were already disappointed. You already tried the first one. You're
Exactly. I was like, you know what? Like the other desserts that looked really good, like maybe they're terrible too. So fuck it.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go.
Exactly.
So then I went to another place the next day, and then I had so they had 2 ribeyes on their menu, and you can't. I mean, for me, as far as a ribeye, it's a pretty good. I mean, it's a pretty good baseline steak.
Yeah.
If like I'm really hungry and they have it on the menu, a fucking porterhouse is the way to go, in my opinion. Because you get the 2 cuts of steak on both either side. It's basically like a Bader T-bone, basically. Yeah. So you get the cut of the tenderloin on the one side, and then you get the other cut on the other side. So
like
yeah, but they didn't have it. So they had and they actually had 2 different ribeyes. They had an espresso ribeye, and they had like just regular ribeye.
Espresso?
Espresso, yeah.
What is that? What does espresso mean? Like I know it's Italian, but.
So I asked him. I said, well, what is the difference between these 2? He's like, oh, like, they have the rub. They include like some espresso beans in it, like ground up ones, and like some other stuff. So I was like, you know what, like I have regular all the time, so why not? I'll try.
When in Rome, right?
Yeah, it came with like a demi-glaze that he described it kind of weird, and I see why he described it kind of weird because I tried it. To me, it was kind of sweet. I didn't like it, but it had like the actual rub. There was kind of like this. I could tell they use coffee in it, obviously, because it's in the name. Yeah. But they had like some cinnamon, and they had a couple of other spices in there that actually made it different, but it was good. Right. And then he asked me, he's like, so what do you think of the demi-glaze? I was like, dude, like honestly, I think it's a little like sweet. It's too weird for me. Mm-hmm. He's like, it's pretty polarizing. He's like, people usually like the rub, but they're kind of either they like it or they don't like it from the demi-glaze. So I was like, no, I'm not a fan.
And it's funny because you talk about the restaurant, but that's what you have to do when you go to a restaurant somewhere else. He's like, you get it? I was like, oh, I haven't seen this before.
It's fun to do that.
Yeah, it is.
Of course,
and you learn more about your palate, and you learn more about
and it was a steakhouse, so I figured they're not gonna fuck up a steak. So And they had, you know, they had the New York strip, which I was like, no, I'm not crazy about New York. So it's a little bit lean for me.
Is a New York steak kind of like the PSL of Starbucks? Like it's the basic
No.
type of stuff, or like what would you guys consider like a basic?
Carne asada.
No,
It's not a steak though. It's just
Well, skirt steak.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's skirt steak. No,
mini skirt.
yeah. But I don't know. I would think probably the New York steak, because to me, like, there the quality of the meat has to be good, because there's not, I mean, to me it's a little dry because it's a bit leaner than like some of the
Yeah.
other stuff.
Yeah.
I just don't enjoy it as much. But I mean, you go to Denny's, and even Denny's has a fucking New York strip, so you know,
Yeah.
it's pretty common. I think that would probably be it.
That'd probably be the basic
Yeah.
steak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, other than that's really why. I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot to do there. I didn't do anything other than eat, so that's why, you know, we're talking about food.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
From the start,
I know.
which is what we always do, right?
Okay.
From the start. So
Speaking
yeah.
of food, Anthony Bourdain, man, that's
That was surprising.
I know,
dude.
that was surprising. I was
It was. I was gonna say it was surprising that he had done it, but if you really like,
yeah. I mean, that dude's kind
no,
of
his
like a
history.
rough.
Yeah.
yeah, he's had a
Yeah.
pretty rough life. He struggled at least from what little I know about him. I know he struggled with heroin addiction for a
Yeah.
while,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I knew he drank like a fucking fish. And you know, and talking to one of somebody I work with, they're like, yeah, you know, like, I don't know. He's like, it's not really shocking. He's like, if you look at his eyes, like, you kind of just tell that he's like,
He was going through.
like
yeah.
he seems like he. I was like, dude, maybe it's all the fucking partying. He's just like, yeah, he seems kind of dead, like he has dead eyes. And I
Wow.
was like, well, I guess, like, it's weird in looking at some of his like stuff that he said before.
Yeah.
You know, he's saying that, you know, he became successful at 40, and there's probably other stuff. He's like, yeah, I became successful at 40. He's like, I became a father at 50. He's like, I feel like I stole a car. He's like, a really nice car. He's like, and I keep looking in the rearview mirror, looking for flashing lights, but I don't see it. Which would have been a cool perspective, but
Wow.
obviously, you know, he was
Yeah.
dealing with some other shit. Left behind an 11-year-old daughter.
Yeah, man. Like if you know, it's okay to say if you're going through some shit. It's like, hey, I need some help.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
to me, the surprising part about it, really, is that, like, to anybody else, I mean, to me, to anybody here, we would probably be like, dude, this guy has the fucking, his job is the shit.
Yeah.
He goes
Right,
around,
right.
he eats, he talks to fucking everybody, like, anybody that has talked to him, they've said great things about him.
Yep.
And then, dude just freaking, you know, yeah, I don't know, there was some weird shit going on in his life.
I've heard his food is to die for, but like,
Yeah,
Come on.
apparently.
come on.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy. I don't know.
It's,
You can't
it's-
see it because
it's
when
sad.
you put a persona when you're on the TV, you're
Right,
a different person than you are when you're off.
Yeah, man. Like my cousin posted something. My cousin Matthew posted something on Facebook saying, you know, everybody's fighting something. Everybody's fighting a demon. So you know, try to be kind to
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
before you.
And it's funny because you say about demons, but all the people that have gone through, you know, done suicide or however
Right.
taken their life, they always talk about a demon. I've noticed.
I don't know if it's the demons is.
But I'm not saying
I
in
mean,
a certain
it's-
aspect, but their own.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah,
everybody's
it's
struggles, dude. Everybody has
Yeah,
their own fucking
that's what
struggles.
yeah.
Everybody has their own. We don't know what the fuck's going on in everybody's head. You know, I agree. I mean, shit, and trying to deal with people in everyday life, like, you know, I try to treat people well because it's like,
You never know.
yeah, you don't know.
Out there. Even like, okay, so like for example, I still took like, even if servers may be kind of shitty or whatever, I at least tip 20%. Why? Because I don't know what that person went through that day, and they're probably having a shitty day, or they hate their job. It's like, all right, I've been there and I understand that, and it doesn't. Being a server does not pay well, and they work off of
Yeah,
tips and shit.
I agree with that.
And so,
But I don't know. But you know, but it depends though. It depends what they fuck
That-
up or what.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
well, that and I don't want my fucking food to get fucked with.
Well, at that point,
Yeah.
But still, though, no, I still think about, like, you know, maybe they're having a shitty day. I don't know.
I have a different perspective on that. I really think about, like, if, you know, I really take that to mind. Like, yeah, you live off of your tips. So, like, if you did, you know, maybe you would put a little, because, I mean, I've had some that are just,
Yeah.
just fucking completely terrible, right? And for those people, I don't leave anything. Just, it's, I mean, I'm tipping for the service.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I've tipped like this guy at the steakhouse. Like, I'm not fucking tooting my own horn, but the service was excellent.
Right,
On a freaking on a $40 meal, I left him $20. You know, I mean, I do that often.
Yeah.
You know, if the service
balancing it out.
if the service is good, I mean, I make note of it by tipping well.
I get that too, but I mean, have you guys had like those days where it's like it's a shitty ass day and you're like, I'm not having it today. It's like it's hard to fucking
But I can't.
together.
But I can't not do my job. You know.
True.
And that's the thing is if
You gotta leave your personal shit out.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Well, and I leave my work shit as soon as I leave that door. I leave my work shit there.
Same.
You know, it works both ways.
I always gauge them by my soda or what I'm drinking.
Like often they come around.
Yeah.
That's how I gauge them. You know, or
That's a very basic way of doing it, right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't ask for anything else, like if you're not asking them to bring you anything, or if you're not asking them for, recommendations or whatever, what else is there? Just keep my drink full, dude. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and if they can't even do that like
And
that.
if I
I'm
hear
not
the
being-
stupid song, it's not good.
Yeah, it's like, look, I'm not being demanding. Like, I understand. There's people that go out and that's the one time of the year that they go out and they want to be fucking really demanding to their servers. I don't know.
They want to be a boss.
Yeah, I guess.
Because at work they're like treated like that, and they're like, I want to do this. I want to see what this.
I guess I get treated like shit at work by our fucking some of our customers, but I'm pass that on to fucking. I don't pass that on to anybody else.
Yeah, no.
I just look at it like, dude, that's shitty. But as soon as I hang up on it,
It should be the contrary. Like I don't, do unto others. Like I don't want people to treat me like this.
What do you guys think about people that are assholes to the servers?
I think that says a lot about their personality and who they are.
And you know what? And I agree.
Yeah.
I fucking agree.
Yeah. I mean, I do like it doesn't even have to be that, right? Like I'm just as nice to my server as I am to the dude that at the drive-thru.
Yeah, no, yeah.
For that same reason is because they're working that job too. Maybe it's not the best job. I've been there, and I take notice of that. Like when I worked there, it's like I noticed the people that were shitty, and it's like, well, it kind of sucks, but whatever, you just deal with it.
I think it just says a lot about a person, how they are, especially in that sense. Because if you're gonna be like that out there, you're gonna be like that everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. It's like, fuck, well, you're the one that's got to live with yourself, not me. It's like, whatever. Once I'm done with you, fucking life goes on for me, dude.
Yeah.
I probably won't see you. The service crappy.
But yeah, it's taken me a while to realize that, so. Yeah, I definitely understand.
I know how we were talking about food. I went
Always.
to. I know, always, all the time. I went to Caliche Town in Moreno Valley.
I've seen videos of that place, and
dude, it's crazy.
Like, even though the food looks good, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Because it's loud as fuck. From the videos I see, it's obnoxiously loud.
Yeah.
And I heard it's pretty
Well,
pricey.
the only reason why I'm bringing it up because I went to go eat there this week, and then, dude, they give you choice. Oh, get like 2 or 3 rolls, you'll be good. Dude, the rolls are like this big, and I'm not fucking bullshitting.
Yeah, but how much of that is rice?
Most of it's rice.
Yeah, see.
And I was like,
It's a rip-off, man.
Yeah. I was like, yeah.
I don't like those places.
Yeah.
But give me if it's a normal size roll, and the contents are good, like, you're not gonna eat as much. But there's places that like are all you can eat, and it's like I would rather go to the places where it's like you order 1 or 2 rolls and you're good.
Yeah.
As opposed to like the all you can eat places where the quality is maybe a little bit lower of everything.
Rice,
And then it's just all rice. It's like, well, fuck, if I wanted just rice, I would go to another fucking place.
Dude, so I kind of want to go back to the whole Anthony Bourdain and suicide stuff. I've been seeing people post on Facebook, of course. That's like my news medium because I don't really watch TV and watch news channels, but they posted, the statistics on I can't. That's one word that's hard for me to say. Statistics on suicide, and it's been going up. Like there's a suicide epidemic.
They did say that.
And there has to be somewhere we can blame this on Trump.
Somehow,
somehow.
But I mean, that just goes to show, like it's, speaking of.
Like that girl Spade, I don't know.
Kate Spade.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
She hung herself.
I mean,
That's crazy.
Obviously, we have some like mental health issues.
I don't know, man.
In the United States, and that's why there's so many school shootings. So instead of like, what I hate is like people blame guns. Like, it's not a gun problem. It's not. It's a people problem.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, you got suicide rates going up, and it's like
I think
something's going wrong. Man.
I think it's not just that, right? I think that, I mean, as more people use social media, I mean, social media is not evil.
No,
it's a thing, right?
It's like with anything, it can be used for good, it can be bad. Like water,
and it
drink too much water, you die.
Yeah, and it depends how you filter the information that comes out of there.
Right. But I guess what I was getting at is that, like, you know, it's easier for us to.
Generator? What's going on here?
I think it sounds like a generator. Hold on.
Something crazy going. Well, anyway, what I was saying is that, like, it's easy for us to kind of devalue other people,
Right.
and not really connect with people on a human level, right?
And it
It's
changed
just
so much when social media came out.
it's just a guy on a computer, you know, and it's the way that people talk to each other. It's just the things that people say,
Right.
and it's just relating to people, man. Like it's not the same as it was before.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
That is distracting as fuck. I don't know what that is.
I think it's a generator.
Sounds like a generator. Should we like close the garage door?
Yeah, let's do that. I'll turn the volume down because it's really
bring it
loud.
down.
Yeah.
Somebody trying
Here, I'm gonna turn down the volume because, like I said, it gets really loud when we try to close it and the microphones are
to.
on.
Yeah, that's right.
This is like a pressure washer. That helps.
And we're back.
Yeah, that helps. It's still there, but it's not as distracting.
No, you could just
loud
hear it.
Sweet. Yeah, but I don't know, man. I think that really has a lot to do with it, man.
The way people treat each other.
It's the fact that, you know, we don't interact with each other, and it's not just that, right? It's again, like, you know, I joke about it, like there has to be a way we can blame Trump on it, but I think that's it as well. Like, politically these days, it seems a lot more like people are more divided. People are more scared to have actual conversations because people are afraid to offend other people. Like it's tough, man. I don't know. I don't know how we get out of this.
And also, I mean, I've been listening. Yeah, it has, and I've been listening a lot to, gosh, what's that? Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
I love listening to that dude. That dude's like fucking. He's smart as shit, dude. And not just that, like he. Anyways, just watch some Jordan Peterson and some great stuff. But I'm not sure what exactly identity politics is.
So identity politics is basically just the thought of this whole divisive stuff that's going on
like
lately. Like,
grouping people together?
Like, no. It's part of it. Yeah. Like, oh, you're gay, then you should be really leftist.
Or like you're a man, and so you're a chauvinistic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like it's basically another way of.
Or you think this way, so you must have voted for Trump.
Right. Not just that, but it's kind of like, you know, everybody has their own thing. Like oh, I'm transgender. Oh, I'm this or I'm that. Like it's not. You don't start with like, hey, I'm a person. It's hey, I'm this. You have to try to like. It's all this whole thing of different different subsets of human. And how you feel your opinion on something is more relevant because you're of a certain minority that maybe is more repressed than another person or whatever.
Okay.
It's just it's all part of the. But that's essentially what identity politics is these days.
Okay.
Yeah. So he talks a lot about that and like how that, you know, it has changed and it's dangerous. You know, it's dangerous to play that whole game of identity politics and grouping someone in a certain group.
Well, because then you're segregating yourself too.
You're just dehumanizing people. Again, you're not taking a person for who they are. Yeah. You're taking them for what you can see. And as much as I hate to refer to it this way, but it really is true. More of the people that are more left leaning, if you really look at what they're saying, if you really look at like the statements that they make and the assumptions they make, to me it really recalls back to like, you know, kind of racism.
And almost like a dictatorship type of feel to it because I mean
you're not allowed to stray too far from from and it's funny because I've heard this expression used with like black commentators on politics. They say, oh, when they're talking about Kanye, he's off the plantation. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, really? Like, that's how you want to refer to it, right?
Wow.
Yeah. Like, that's, statements like that. And it's like, you should be in a mental plantation. And I've actually been listening a lot to Maj Toure from Black Guns Matter and kind of like getting, and it's funny because he had a live video that I was watching when I was in Florida, and he was saying that, a lot of the times he'll post shit and he posts like two different perspectives, right? This is like when that whole thing with Rosie O'Donnell was going on and the show getting canceled or whatever.
That was crazy.
He posted a couple of different things and people really got to discussing it. And of course, some people were they were, saying like, this is, of course they can fire her. Like she should, for what she said and this and that. Other people were like, no, it's her First Amendment right. She shouldn't be saying it. And then he brings up people kneeling at the national anthem.
National anthem.
Yeah. And it's like, he was saying like, look, dude, like if you're gonna criticize, like have a standard, like be consistent.
Be consistent. So before we go a little further, I just want to bring something up because I tend to forget stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So as far as the leftist thing, I find it funny, like we'll call it extreme left, or what were they called? Anyways, extreme left or whatever.
SJW, identity
SJW, yes. So they got the whole anti-fascist shit, but at the same time, they're being fascist by, like in Canada, they've passed that law that like you have to, like, they're controlling your speech.
Yeah, right.
The way you speak, like you have to say this, you have to like.
It's like an extreme.
They're taking the amendment out of
Well, they don't have any. They don't have First Amendment rights, and neither does the UK, and that's where like if you make a joke. Like somebody had posted a video of their dog doing a Hitler salute, and then they got arrested.
Wow.
It's like, really? Like, how do you go? Like, that's a pretty big stretch.
It's a dog. Like, it's not really a fucking...
the dog is racist. Like,
it's just hilarious.
I've actually seen racist dogs. But it's weird because it ends up being like this whole thing of... just you're creating an echo chamber. It's all like an extreme form of confirmation bias, and that's how people want to live their lives.
They just want to live in a box and not.
And that's everybody. And this is on both sides. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
This is on the sides of conservatives and people that would call themselves more on the right and people that are on the left. I follow, and it's funny because I follow a comedian and she's originally from Pakistan.
Yeah.
And she was talking about a film that was banned in Pakistan because it ended up showing like kind of a strong like female empowerment roles and this and that and
like Frozen.
In a way, like it was actual characters, like actual people, and there everything's really repressed, and I told her, I was like, hey, I really enjoyed your rant. Like I think it's interesting that like a lot of these people that will call out somebody because they're a white male. And kind of diminish their position at the very top. And there's a podcast that I used to listen to, and I still follow him, Russ Wishtart. He pointed out that there's such a thing as an SJW pyramid. So at the very top of the SJW pyramid is Muslims. The people that play identity politics and people that do the whole social justice warrior thing, and for so many people that are so vocal about repression of women, they never criticize the fact that like up until recently, very recently, women in Saudi Arabia couldn't drive.
Now they can. Now they can.
And I mean, they couldn't go anywhere, and they probably still can't go anywhere without a male escort. Like in a society where it's really, really repressed. Yeah. Like it's the extreme like repression of women.
So here's the thing. I'm trying to fit into the shoes of a left winger or whatever. I imagine their defense would be like, well, it's a whole different world. It's a whole different customs.
I guess it is. But at a certain point, like, so here's I guess the counter thought to that, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, they're women too, right?
Right.
Like you're saying that women here in the U.S. are repressed, which they're not. I mean, to a certain extent, things are different for women. They live a different life than we do. However,
like how Jordan Peterson says, like, I believe they deserve an equal opportunity.
Right, not the equal result.
Not the equal outcome, which is what the dangerous part is. Like the equal outcome part is the what shouldn't be in there. But the equal opportunity, like, absolutely, yeah. You should have the absolutely.
Yeah, because because there's the equal opportunity, and then comes the middle part, which is the equal effort, and then there's the equal result.
Yeah.
They want, like, what they're advocating for is eliminating that middle part. Like, oh, don't pay attention to that. Don't pay attention to the fact that men, on average, die in the workplace at a much higher percentage.
Yeah.
Why? Because men tend to take generally higher risk jobs.
And one thing that Jordan Peterson brought up, I'm like totally on Jordan Peterson's dick right now, but it's cool. He's a cool guy, whatever. No homo. Not
a little homo.
Right. It's maybe a little. So it's the whole... Also, another factor in that whole why males get paid more is because, and I'm not saying that they do. Anyways, it's that they're more confrontational. They're less agreeable.
Yeah.
So if they offer you a certain salary, like males will be like, you know what, nah, like.
Yeah.
It's kind of less likely to kind of just go with the flow.
And so females on average are more agreeable, and so I'm gonna say this. On air, like I'm more of an agreeable person. Like I'm not a confrontational person.
Yeah. I tend to be at times as well. But a lot of the times, I mean, it's I bring shit up, and a lot of the times, like I'll preface it. I'll be like, you know what? Like I'm just asking because if I didn't ask, it's gonna bug me, and then I'll ask the question. And if it's a stupid explanation, then hey, I let you like. Sometimes I let people explain their stupid explanations and hope that they realize what they're explaining is stupid, but a lot of the times they don't. And I'm just like, okay, well, whatever, at that point, I see what knowing a person, either I'll make the suggestion of how we can change things, and it's not just like, hey, everything has to go my way. Like, hey, at least consider this.
Okay, and that's something that Jordan Peterson, like, when because he's not a psychiatrist. I forgot what, but he coaches women to like be more, instead of being agreeable, be more like, take hold, like what you do, like exactly, take more hold, and so he coaches women to do that, and like stop being so agreeable, and actually like ask for what you want,
Yeah, and it's funny because we were having a conversation earlier, and we were both kind of like agreed to pretty much the opposite of what we're talking about right now. You were like, don't risk it, So it's pretty odd.
It is pretty odd.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, in general, obviously, we're talking about generalities, right?
Right.
Like there are women that do take charge, and speaking of which, and I don't want to go the whole podcast
to them,
I don't want to go the whole podcast without mentioning that today my wife's actually at her graduation for her second class.
Oh, nice. Congrats, Jen.
Yeah, so I'm pretty proud of her, man, and really thinking about like what she does, and it's one of those things that like kind of goes like. To me, I don't see it, so it doesn't really like register. But I started thinking about it today, and she was telling me how she has 26 students graduating.
Wow.
And it's like dude, like, and this is her second class, right? So it's like, to affect that many people's lives in a manner to where it's like some of them, maybe they don't end up in that career path, but all of them have at least that option. Right. To pursue that career path.
And I don't know if everybody knows, awesome. but Larry's wife is a teacher at a radiology school, right?
She does. She teaches RT and XT.
So this is the second class she's taught that's graduating. There's 26 graduates.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, and they started with, I believe she told me it was like 34 or 36. So, and it's a pretty intense program. It's really condensed. But the cool thing about it is that it's in an area that generally isn't overly privileged. The equivalent program, you'd go to Loma Linda and pay, 10 grand a semester or something ridiculous like that,
Right.
or 10 grand a year, and it would be like multiple years. Whereas there, it's a much lower cost. It's more competitive to get in, obviously.
So like a trade school type thing?
It is. It's more kind of like how we had ROP in high school.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing.
Okay, cool.
But it's like adult education, and I just I just wanted to make sure that I brought that up and just kind of say that hey, I'm pretty proud of her.
That's awesome.
Even though that a lot of times maybe I don't tell her as much as I should, and I try to. I mean, fuck, it's one of those things that I'm pretty bad at communicating a lot of those things, but I try to get better at it, because it's one of those things that like I mean, at least for me, like the whole feelings thing doesn't really like.
Yeah, you're not much of a feels dude.
No.
It's rare to see you in the feels mode.
Yeah,
so, it is.
So I mean, and it's there, but it's just one of those things that like I deal with it and I move on, Whereas like I know a lot of the times I see that she comes home and she brings some of that stuff with her, and it's like, I mean, even the positive and the negative,
Yeah.
I guess it's one of those things, and she puts a lot of work into it, and I think it's pretty cool, and I really like that she has the opportunity to do something that she really enjoys.
You know what was really impressive too is the fact that as soon as she graduated, she was offered that job, right? So
Well, she graduated. She worked that field for a little bit, but the teacher retired.
Yeah.
And then she ended up going back, and they offered her a position to teach the program.
that's dope.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
Going
that's
from
awesome.
like student to working in the field for a little bit and to teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is I mean, to be at that level, like you actually have to be really. I mean, to teach something, like you actually have to really understand it.
Oh yeah.
To be effective, because people learn in different ways.
Oh yeah.
Like I've done some training, and it's funny because that's what I was out there doing, and it's one of those things like you have to show people different ways of doing things. If you have the time, you can teach somebody, you can show somebody, and then you can allow them to do it.
Right.
For me, if I do, like, if I'm in a class and I take notes and I write something down, I can toss the notebook.
Yeah.
And I'll remember it. Because I remember writing it down, and I remember why I wrote it down. I don't write down everything, but I write down certain parts that I don't understand. Maybe I look at it, then toss it. But where it really sticks with me is if I apply that, like if I do it. If something breaks, if I fix it. Hell, if I'm working on something and I break it and then I have to fix it.
Right.
If I break it more,
Right.
that's where I learn. Like that stuff sticks with me.
But that's the reward when you fix it and you find it out by yourself.
Exactly.
And stuff like that, because you're like, okay, now I know what not to do.
Yeah.
But now it's faster.
Not just that, but now you have that knowledge, and
Exactly.
you can teach somebody like, hey, like, try to avoid this because this will happen,
Yeah.
and it'll be a pain in the ass to fix.
It's like a
Whatever.
simple concept when you're changing like a light bulb on your damn car.
Yeah.
At first you're like, wow, how the fuck did I do it? The only reason why is because last time I had to change the light bulb,
I
like,
forgot the light bulb
I know.
fluid.
Oh no!
I was like,
Did you touch the light bulb?
no.
So what happens? So what can happen, and this is how I know. What can happen is if like a headlight bulb, they get really hot.
Right.
If you touch it with your bare hands, there's oils on your hand. You can leave that on the light bulb. What'll happen may not happen right away, may not happen at all. But the possibility exists that it'll fucking explode. And good luck getting shattered glass out of a fucking headlight housing. It's a pain in the ass. Ask me how I know that one.
Nah, I can.
It happened to you.
Yeah, it happened to you.
From experience, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
what I'm talking about.
So speaking of that, like, so we're learning on the job. So Trump being in office or whatever, right? So I'm not a big fan of the dude. Like, and I'm always gonna say I'm not a big fan of the dude, but I figure like, okay, it's gonna be like his first time being being a president or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
There's gonna be some fuck ups. There's gonna be some learning curves. So recently I've learned that, not learned, but I heard that so Trump pardoned some great grandmother or something that was serving life in jail for
first offense drug crime.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the interesting part, right? And I'm sure you saw the meme that I posted, like,
Yeah,
people were making
Yeah.
fun of the whole thing, like, oh yeah, President Reform expert Kim Kardashian goes to talk to President Trump. Dude, Like, there's all these dudes that have been fucking preaching about, like, oh, you know, the prison system's fucked up, and that's the thing. And you know, she saw an opportunity. From what I understood and what I heard, it's a case that she'd been studying for a while, and she understood the points of it. And she had an opportunity to talk to somebody that maybe, trust me, I can guarantee you that 100% that she does not politically agree with President Trump.
Oh, yeah.
And his policies. There's no way, right?
No.
So, but she saw it as an opportunity, like, hey, I have this guy's ear, like, I should go talk to him.
You know what? I'm gonna have to say I'm also not a big fan of Kim.
No, not at all.
But for her to use her celebrity status to do this, okay.
Yeah, I'll give her credit.
Cool.
I'll give her credit for that.
shit.
Yeah, of course, all day. But she had an opportunity. She took it. She spoke to the man, and it almost seems to me that it may have triggered something else in a positive way. So now I've heard that there's talks about the consideration of so there was something else that was signed recently that was called the Right to Try Act, which authorized non-FDA approved methods of treatment for people that were terminally ill.
Okay.
To include stuff like, you know, anything from, you know, essential oils to all the way up to medical marijuana.
Yeah.
In some instances.
What I find funny is that medical marijuana is Schedule 1, right?
Right.
And
that means there's no medical use.
No medical use. And LSD
Is like the top
is
product.
like, it's not even
It's
Schedule
not that.
1.
No,
It's not.
There's actually some.
There's some
according to
medical use
schedule,
for it.
Cocaine is the same way.
Yeah.
Cocaine is and actually cocaine for a while, and it may still actually be used for some surgeries. I believe that they used it, but I guess going back to, you know, the point of I've even been hearing about, like, he as of recently as today that he endorsed some legislation to considering you know, kind of easing
the federal ban on marijuana.
yeah
He signed it.
Yeah, and what's funny is that's something that Senator Cory Gardner, which is the senator from Colorado, right?
Yeah.
He's Republican. Okay, this Republican's fighting to drop that ban on a federal ban on marijuana.
Yeah.
And this is the whole thing going back to, like, the whole identity politics. Like, oh, if you're a Republican,
you're against marijuana, you're against abortion, you're against it, you know.
And when you stop that shit, because it obviously with this, I mean, this dude's a Republican. Obviously, he wants to support the whole.
And he's even even the president, right? Even the president's considering it,
right?
Right. And Jeff, we were laughing about it when we heard about it, because we were like, Jeff Sessions is gonna be fucking. He's gonna quit. He's gonna fucking rage.
Oh, for sure.
He's gonna be like, haven't you ever watched Reefer Madness? They're gonna rape all the white women, fucking hippies, and then he's just gonna walk out and quit.
It's gotten such a bad stigma because of all the stupid propaganda from.
Look,
people.
here's the thing. Here's the thing, and here's my opinion on it. I, again, we're kind of going, like, talking about extremes recently, like, you know, that seems like a theme, right? Maybe marijuana doesn't make it so all the black men rape all the white women. You know, maybe it's far from that. But maybe it also isn't the cure-all for everything.
Yeah.
But maybe somewhere in the middle.
That's all.
You know,
That's all
let's consider it, right? Like, as of right now, there cannot be any actual medical trials because of the way it's scheduled. There's no medicinal benefits at all.
Yeah.
You know, which is interesting to me. And it's one of those things. It's like okay, so let's reschedule it. Let's do some research, and we'll know the answer if we do the research, right? And people are going to say, well, no, who's going to do the research? It's going to be Big Pharma.
Trust me, there's already some research.
It's already going on.
Yes.
You know, it's already going on, and even if it's, you know, maybe, like, I don't know. I just think that it's something that's worth doing, not necessarily just from the possible medicinal benefits of it, which I agree there may be some.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that have seen great success with.
Yeah.
And
CBD alone. I mean,
not just okay. So not just that, right? Now we're talking, like, just even at the very basic level of a problem that we're seeing with opiate addiction. And I saw, and it's funny because I saw there was he might have been like a police chief or something, and he was talking about like, oh, I ask all these criminals like, what led you down this path, and without fail, they told me it was marijuana.
When the truth is alcohol.
Yeah. I mean, it's more dangerous, right? I mean, to the average person that doesn't understand either one, like alcohol is obviously, and not obviously, I mean, well, yeah, I guess if the facts bear it out, it's obvious.
Yeah, it's obvious.
People die more often from alcohol overdose than they do from marijuana overdose.
And it's harsher to try to get off of alcohol than it is.
You can literally die.
Yeah, you can literally die.
There can be a point in your
to Amy Winehouse.
There can be a point in your alcoholism where if you stop drinking, you will die.
Yeah.
And the opposite is true for fucking heroin, dude.
Yeah.
Like heroin, like from what I've heard, because I've never tried heroin, guys, I never will. But from what I heard, when
never
you're,
say never. We'll talk
Never.
about no.
Hey,
never.
She was saying that we sound robotic.
I'm
just
I don't know
saying.
what that means.
I don't
I don't know what that means,
either.
Chewy.
I can't hear that.
That's racist, man. So I don't know. Is it this?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So, with heroin, like,
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
when you're, the come down and that, whatever, when you're trying to get off of that shit, it's like, when your foot falls asleep and feels like there's a bunch of things. It's that times like 1,000, right?
Oh, no.
But you will not die from that.
But it feels like you're gonna die.
Right, but it feels like you're gonna die. But
It's because
it's just crazy that alcohol, it's like, it's so socially accepted
Yeah.
that,
You know, it's
like,
funny because I used to hear that when I was a kid because I know I used to do a lot of marijuana and stuff like that, and then they'll be like,
how many marijuanas would you take?
a lot.
A lot of, like 2 marijuanas?
The more.
You are, damn, how are you still alive?
I don't know, man.
More than 2 marijuanas? Not at once.
Not at once.
Wow.
One at a time. Anyway.
Wow.
Hold on. Anyways, like I was saying, I forgot the hell I was gonna go.
So,
I messed up.
marijuana is
Oh, they say it's a gateway drug, right?
gateway drug. It's Pride Week.
Yeah.
But no, gateway drug.
It's a
right.
gateway drug, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, it was like, why do I always have to blame it on that? It's like, it's a personal decision. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to own up to your decision. Like, oh, I want to try marijuana. Oh, you know what?
There's a propensity.
Now,
There's a
hey,
propensity.
you want to try
to it.
this? It's like, you want to try it. Like, oh, you want to try cocaine? Yeah,
Right.
sure, why not?
Nobody held a gun to your head.
That's why I don't see it. It's just like, I don't know. Just
Yeah, you
crazy.
can't you can't blame the substance. It's a human condition. Once
Exactly,
again, it's a
exactly.
human condition.
It's just like the gun.
exactly.
Exactly. Same
It's a thing. It's an inanimate thing. Whatever you choose to do with
Yeah.
it, it's that's up to you.
Speaking of which, earlier we were talking about your guys' first time getting drunk. So, your first time getting drunk, what was that like? Because that was a funny conversation. I want to get that shit again.
Maybe we'll talk about that in some other, because it's a pretty long story, and one that maybe we'll save for another
All right,
time.
we'll save that for next time.
Yeah,
Keep
but-
us accountable, guys. We'll talk about the first time we got drunk. Because that's a subject we haven't got. When we're drinking, it's like,
I know.
That hasn't come up yet? All right.
Yeah.
So next time we'll talk about
We'll talk about that some other time,
Definitely.
yeah, because that's a pretty long conversation, and we can definitely have that for another time when there's less stuff to talk about. Actually, I mean, there's a lot that's been going on this week, man.
that judge from the Brock Turner case.
Yeah, got his ass recalled.
He got his ass recalled, which,
Unfortunately, that's the worst that can happen to him
yeah.
at this point.
Unfortunately. So there's a thing he did bring up that I did think about, and, once again, I never, I'm never close to ideas from either side, right? Because there's two sides to the story. But so he was talking about how, like, if they do this, it's gonna bring the public opinion into the courthouses. But he fucked up because, I mean, Brock Turner's a piece of shit.
6
though.
months, bro. Like,
Piece of shit for
Yeah,
doing that.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, I get that. I understand why you say that, but no, dude, you fucked up. Like,
here's a counter argument to that. Is that's what the fuck is exactly supposed to happen with elections. Is, hey,
Yeah, but
you know
elections,
what?
right.
You're doing a shitty job. Get the fuck out.
Right.
Like, that's exactly what's supposed to happen.
it's supposed to happen like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. But I think he was talking more about court trials, like the whole public opinion thing. Yeah, in court trials that should come in. But if he's doing a shitty job, I agree.
Yeah.
Fuck out, dude.
Yeah.
Really, 6 months, Brock Turner?
Yeah, no,
man.
no. That definitely deserved more than 6 months.
It's inexcusable.
And they pretty much let him off with the time served.
Yeah, it's bullshit, dude.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. No,
with that, that girl had to go through. It's like, dude.
No, she's gonna live with that for the rest of her life.
Right. That's horrible, dude.
Yeah. No, fuck that. That was fucking horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad it got recalled. And again,
Yeah,
it's unfortunate to me that that's the worst that can happen to him is he loses his fucking cushy job. Which I'm sure he probably had some money saved up from his fucking retirement account, which I'm sure didn't get. Whatever. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
I have no sympathy. I have no sympathy for him getting kicked out of office. I think it should happen more often.
Yeah.
It really should.
Yeah, we should hold politicians more fucking accountable. Speaking of which, and I know what the answer is going to be here. Speaking of which, did you guys vote in the primary?
No.
Yep.
Because
I knew it.
I know. I forgot.
the way my bank account is set up, I had to go to work.
Yeah.
And
Your work is supposed to allow you time.
They should, but the thing is, I work.
It's not that they should. It's they're legally they have to.
Okay, so my polling place is gonna be here in Riverside. I work in
What happened
Hills.
was,
So
Okay, good point. So next year, yes, or not next year, but next time, yes. I'm not. It's a whole, like I said, the whole mentality. Like I got bills to pay.
primary elections, the turnout was pretty low.
So who? It's between Newsom and
Cox? Yeah.
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 I just want. I don't
Yeah. Republicans love Cox.
Republicans. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Republicans do. I mean, I want to see hats. Like I voted for Cox.
Look.
Cox for California.
Look. I voted for Travis Allen. I felt he was a better choice.
I knew you would. Yeah.
I felt that in terms of politically, I think if the California GOP would have done a better job of supporting Travis Allen, I think it would have been
Supporting Cox.
Yeah,
I think they do support
Cox.
They love Cox.
Yeah. Even the president said I love Cox. So I mean I guess there's that, right? But no, I think if they would have done a better job of and here's the thing is it's this fucking thing of trying to appeal to moderates, and that's kind of what fucked a lot of people before, right? And in reality, I mean, that's the thing is that was the thing against Trump, right? Oh no, he's too polarizing, this and that, and look where that ended up.
Right.
I think that for the majority of people, and I'm not as familiar with California politics as some of my other friends. Some of my other friends are old as shit, and they've been keeping up with this for forever, right? But he's made this one guy in particular that I'm thinking of. He made a good point. Is that a lot of the people that should be targeted are the disaffected Republicans in California that are registered as independents, because that's where the points are to be won for the Republican Party.
Yeah.
In California. I mean, the Democrats are going to vote Democrat. If you look at the map overall, it's funny because it's a perfect illustration of why California is the shape that it's in. It's a lot of
The rent's too damn high.
Well, yeah, in the places where the rent is too damn high in the coastal areas, that's all blue. Like that was they all voted Democrats, and the rest of more of the state was red and blue, and then this little tiny section, for some fucking reason, voted for Rio Grossa. And it's the strangest thing ever to me.
Yeah. They said they had a problem with the counting the votes or something like that, right?
There was a lot of fuckery. Yeah. There was people saying that they would show
it all over again.
They would show up to the polling place and they weren't registered there. And it's like, dude, I've been registered for well, you have to sign up for a provisionary ballot.
Oh, that's some bullshit.
And the provisionary ballot, what happens is they count those in case it's a really close election. Then they count them.
You know what?
That's stupid.
I think this was a big fuck you to Trump, because remember everybody talking about the popular vote. Hillary won the pop. So it kind of looks like the same situation.
Yeah, I mean it's in fact it's the opposite, right? It's like you have the popular vote, and that's the one thing I don't understand about the whole California the change that they made, and obviously they made it to
wow, that's crazy.
They made it to benefit the Democrats.
Yeah.
That usually gets now they have it so it's like in the primaries you vote and it's the top 2 candidates that advance to the actual election. So what ended up happening was it's going to be Gavin Newsom, unfortunately, against
Cox.
Against Cox, and Cox is going to go flaccid. And it's gonna be, it's gonna be, and our next governor is gonna be Gavin Newsom, and it's gonna be fucking terrible for the state of California.
That's funny that Villarosa, whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah, Tony Two Border, bro.
Yeah, look,
because of the last name. Because of the last name.
Tony Two Names. We'll call him that. That's easy to fucking pronounce.
22 names.
22 names.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the last name thing, dude.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's not even actually his. What he did is he combined his last name with his wife.
Shut up.
Yeah, his name is Tony Villar. Yeah.
Oh, what's his
Villa?
Yeah.
Tony Villa?
Yeah.
He should just keep
Pancho
it
Villa.
Villa.
Yeah, what's wrong? What's wrong with Villa?
Yeah, but I
Sell
guess,
out.
Yeah. I guess his wife's last
This
name.
ain't Hollywood, bro. It's politics.
I
Relax.
guess his wife's last name was Ragosa, and they combined it into like this stupid fucking thing.
Oh, so cute.
I have my own opinion about how the last names, but we won't discuss that.
That's another topic.
Yeah.
That's another time.
Yeah, so that's what it's going to be. Unfortunately, it's going to look like to me that it's going to be Gavin Newsom's going to be our new. I mean, and here's the thing: people are like, "Oh, well, he was the mayor of San Francisco, and that qualifies him." Look at the shape San Francisco's in.
Yeah.
It's fucking terrible.
Expensive as fuck.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like a tiny ass room, fucking, you gotta make 6 figures at least.
All right, it's expensive as fuck because of the fucking tech jobs and shit that are there. That is whatever. That's unavoidable. But in terms of the homelessness, in terms of the crime, in terms of like the way that the laws are there, it's just it's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous.
It's the law of the land and land of the law.
Yeah, and
Did that
unfortunately,
die?
what? No, remember we're not using it.
Oh, we're not using the iPad, my bad.
Yeah. So it's one of those things, man. That's what it's going to end up being. It's going to be end up being. Yeah, I know. I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I remember that thing I was talking about the Wi-Fi. Like that's
is that what it is? It's the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Whatever. We got the audio.
Yeah, we got the recording. But
So yeah.
Unfortunately, it looks like that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be.
There's got to be some. I'm tired of.
I mean, people still voted for fucking Dianne Feinstein for a Senate seat. Are you fucking kidding me?
I know.
This bitch is gonna be fucking 90 by the time she finishes out her term, and then she'll probably get reelected again.
I hope. I don't know, man.
But, I mean, fuck. Why would
I can't
you?
believe that they haven't run for that long, that old, or
It's stupid. They have to have some
That's
like
crazy.
If anything, they have to have some like type of.
Term limits?
Yes, that's what it says.
Yeah.
I mean, at some
Like the
point.
governor, how much is like 5 years?
No, it's
7?
6 years.
Oh,
I believe it's
see,
6 years.
that's fucking bullshit.
Well, but see, they can only run. See, here's the thing: is and Jerry Brown's been the governor before, and I think
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
I voted for him when I was
Yeah.
younger because I didn't know better. That's what I was taught in school. It was like, oh, I was vote Democrat. Feelings. It's like, fuck.
yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. So yeah, he's and it's funny because they're talking about increasing taxes on drinking water and this and that.
Oh, I heard about that. And
Meanwhile,
a certain allotted amount a day too. I heard about that.
Yeah, they were even going to that extreme. But meanwhile, there's a budget surplus supposedly, and it's like, hey, how about fucking investing in the infrastructure? Like the additional infrastructure hasn't really been built since the 70s, and our population has grown quite a bit since then.
Exponentially.
And you want to talk about like, conservation, cool, let's focus on that, but let's also focus on something else. Let's focus on, actually, not dumping water into the fucking ocean for stupid fucking fish that's not even native, which is what's happening in Northern California for the Delta smelt. Yeah, there's a little fucking fish.
I smelt it.
Yeah, it's not even it's not a native species, and they're dumping water into that delta to keep it alive.
Wow.
For what purpose? I don't fucking know.
Put in the fucking tank. Where's that fish from?
I'm not sure.
Wall.
Put a wall.
There you go. That's the solution. I agree. But yeah, and so I mean, there's just so much that's fucked up.
Yeah.
With the state and the way, and people just like, okay, let's keep going, let's keep doing the same thing, and just It doesn't make fucking sense.
That's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result.
I think
about that.
I think in this instance, it's the definition of just fucking being unaware, not paying attention. And here's the thing: is another thing you should focus on is more on your local elections. Like you should know, like your mayors, your sheriff, like all that shit. Like, cause that was also on there.
What's your guys' opinion on making voting online a thing?
I don't think that should happen.
Yeah.
Why not?
Could be manipulated.
I think the fact that California Department of Justice can't even keep certain data secure.
Well, if they can keep your banking,
they're not going to get to that level.
Relatively,
They're not going to get to that level.
What if they do though? Let's say they do.
What if my dick was 8 feet long?
That would be terrible. That would be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about
ideally, you don't want to do that.
Well, if we're gonna talk about imaginary shit, let's talk. Come on, I'm down.
No,
they're not gonna do that. I mean, in terms of anything,
there'll be a lot more voting though.
Yeah, but think about how low information the voters are already. You know, like I'm okay with them fucking being low information to the point where
I'm just being a lazy fucking. I just want to do from the comfort of my home.
Look, but I'm okay with it being you're so low information that you don't even know where your polling place is. I'm okay with that.
I didn't fucking those books they send you in the mail. I didn't even fucking read it.
And this is my voting guide for California. And going forward, this is a fucking guideline that you should use.
Do the opposite of the popularity.
No, it's even easier. It's
easier than that.
No. For the propositions, vote no on all of them, and then go through them, and you're gonna end up with like 85% of them. You're still gonna end up at a no, because all they're doing is they're just creating more laws and more ways to spend money, more ways to take away more of your money. Like that's all it's been in the past few elections. Like,
really has.
It hasn't been.
And I haven't seen any change or any improvements.
No. That's Trump's fault, by the way. Like that's it. Seriously, that's like the thing. Like I've heard of government offices like that's their campaign. I'm gonna stand up to Trump. Like, fucking how? Like, don't like if that's your thing that you're gonna do, get the fuck away from me. You're like not because you're like. And I like the guy and I worship him. No, that's not why.
Yeah.
Because it's not a fucking plan.
I think what they failed to realize is that Trump doesn't have that much effect on the state level.
Here's the thing.
No,
this is the one thing that as soon as Trump got elected, people were like, oh, well, it's gonna look. The office of the presidency should not have that much fucking power. When I was bitching about it in the last one and even before that. When I was bitching about it and saying, look, they have way too much fucking power. Mm-hmm. Now you've created this giant weapon, which is government, and now it gets turned in a direction that you don't like it.
Right.
And that's what we're hearing now. That's what we're hearing.
You can't do shit.
Look, I agree. The powers of government should be even more limited, but they're not. Especially not in California, where people are fucking voting to expand them.
There was I was listening to this interview, or there was this radio show, I think back in 1946, and the dude was talking about, this isn't like a prophecy or nothing, it's just prediction. He's I'm going to say that people in the future are going to trade their liberties for security.
Yeah.
And so they're going to give up their liberties little by little just because the government says this, you're going to be more safe this way.
Yeah. And it happens all day, every day. There's people on everywhere on Twitter screaming for government to make them safe. And it's impossible. And you can't even make yourself safe.
No.
The world is not a safe place. It's not a safe space. You know what? There's shit you have to deal with on a daily basis, and how you deal with it determines how you live your life. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's as simple as that. I don't understand how people can expect that a government that's made of people you don't how are you asking for government to make your life better when you're not even part of your own community? Right. You're not even part enough of your community to know your own mayor, to know your city council, when city council meetings happen.
Guilty of that.
And I agree. I'll put it to you this way. Like, I find that shit interesting. Like, I was watching fucking city council meetings for Corona. And I don't even fucking live in Corona.
Wow.
But they actually stream it online. So I thought it was interesting. I was like, oh, like, these people are doing something that my community is not doing. Like, maybe I should try to bring that up. Like, why aren't you guys doing this?
Yeah.
Because maybe that would get more people involved. Right? And to your point of voting online, hey, how about making fucking people more informed, allowing them to be more informed online?
And maybe people are just so disillusioned with politicians, or like, you know what?
It doesn't make a difference if it's like that.
Exactly. What's the illusion? What's the illusion? That they're going to solve all your problems?
Yes.
So I mean, like, if that's your bar, no, like, you're going to be disappointed.
Like, for me, that's what I'm saying. For me, it's like, okay, like, regardless of who's in office, I got to be critical of them. They're only human, right?
It's our duty.
It's our duty to be critical, but like, I feel like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like people think like, okay, whatever politician comes in, they have their own best interests in their mind. But if you don't go out there, and I'm guilty of this. I'm saying, like, I'm probably saying this. I'm guilty of this. I don't do my research stuff, like, and I need to do my research to be more active in my community, more active.
Well, I think it's because we live in a fast-paced life. You know what I mean? We get to work and like, not taking from me, because I know Larry, he likes to do his research, but like, you know, like,
I'm just ridiculous like that. That's the life I live. I mean, just for dumb shit, I do fucking just a ridiculous amount of research.
Which is cool. I wish I could do that shit, but you know,
I do that shit before purchases.
Yeah, exactly.
Or restaurants.
Yeah, but see, I mean, at what level? Like, I mean, and here's the thing: is for restaurants, that's a funny thing that you mentioned that, because I do the same thing. But in reality, like, a restaurant, like, you go there, if you don't like it, you just don't go back. Like, that's how much, like, that's how insignificant it is, right?
I'm such a fucking...
But I agree. I do the same thing. Like, I'm guilty of it too. Yeah. I do the same shit, right? But it's funny how, like, we prioritize shit, you know?
Yeah.
Food is important.
Food is important.
Yeah.
And going back to, like, politics should be something that is something I should be more aware of and more involved in, because it not only is it going to affect me, but it's going to affect our future, you know.
And that's what concerns me. And that's the part that concerns me the most, is that people are advocating for policies that will try to, you know, supposedly make matters better now at the expense of other people. Right. Like, you know, somebody was talking to me, like, we were talking about something, and I brought up a company that supported a particular bill that was going through Congress for gun control. And they were like, oh, well, they thought it was just to do this. I was like, look, the last time I checked, you don't need to pass more laws to enforce existing ones. That's the most ridiculous fucking thing ever.
That's the stupidest shit ever.
Yeah. It's like, look at the fucking tax code. The tax code now is over 700,000 pages. It's
700. Wait,
I think it's 7. No, wait. Is it 70,000? It's somewhere. It's a ridiculous number.
Still, even 70,000 pages is.
I think it's 70,000.
Let's
look that up.
Goggle it, bro. Goggle it. It's a ridiculous amount of pages. Yeah, like, and obviously, like, what blows my mind is, like, okay, we have 70,000 or 700,000.
No. 73. So as of, let's see, our source of this data, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Personal income taxes, April 15, 2014, they must comply with the term of tax code that takes 73,954 pages. And this is as of April 2014.
24. So
in 2014 it was 73,000, almost 74,000.
So it can maybe be up to 80,000, 90,000 around there, probably more. Obviously, more laws does not equal a better situation.
Well, it has a right.
Look, in 70,000 pages, and seeing, to me, and this is another thing that's happened here recently with the. I mean, not recently. It's been going on, but with recent stories that I've been hearing about California's gun control laws, I think at a certain point, it's obvious that they're made intentionally complicated, right? So it's like, if somebody really wanted to, there's no way in hell any of us are complying with 73,000 pages worth of tax code. Yeah. There's got to be something in there that one of us is violating, right? So it's one of those things. It's like, when laws are written to that extent, like maybe it's time we should start reconsidering some shit.
You know, that goes back to the whole thing about it's not a law thing, it's a human condition thing. So let's shift our focus to mental health. Let's shift our focus to, you know what, let's talk to each other. As much as there's like, you know, social media to like where we're going to be more connected, it seems like we're more disconnected.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's easy to block people, it's easy to unfriend people.
Just like the explanations of what we're doing right here. Who does this?
Yeah.
Kind of
Sit down and
conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
not that
rare.
many people.
And I mean, and here's the thing: is in terms of politics, like I think that like, you know, at least from a baseline, like there's a lot of stuff we agree with, and I wouldn't mind having people on here that maybe we disagree with.
Yeah,
I'd be
it's happy with that, man.
But you know, it's finding people that would agree to that. That's the hard part.
No, I'm sure there's some people out there that. that would
I mean,
want
and
to.
I do find that sit down and try to
Absolutely, same
understand,
here.
try to understand what they're
Welcome to,
thinking
man.
is.
You know, we'll approach it with an open mind, even if you're a flat earther.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
God.
Jesus. Anyway, so
That didn't come up for a while.
Somebody accused me of that, by the way. Like,
Really? Speaking of which.
because I guess they saw my profile and they might have seen some memes I posted.
Yeah.
And they thought like, you're fucking stupid. You're a flat earther. It's like, dude, you totally missed the point
did
of
you
that.
just assume my geocentric beliefs?
2018.
Have you guys heard recently that the newest thing is Australia is fake?
I think I said that.
Australia is fake.
What?
And
Yeah.
all the people living in Australia are paid actors.
Yeah, they're paid TSA. Not TSA.
Was it
CIA.
the Truman Show or what the fuck?
Yeah. No, Australia doesn't exist, dude.
No, it's fake, bro.
No.
Yeah, it's fake. Yeah, I think I sent that, and it was funny because I meant to go back and read it, but I was like, why am I even gonna read it? Like, this is just bothers. Like, I saw the post and I was like, wow, this is like.
Why
okay.
entertain them?
I mean, think about it, dude. If you're willing to go to the extent of saying that the Earth is flat, why not say that Australia is fake? What's so far fetched about that? That's actually, if you're gonna believe one thing, it's possible that the other thing is possible.
Yeah, go big or go home.
Yeah. I mean,
Fuck it.
yeah. I mean, I've never been to Australia. Have you?
Mm-mm.
How do you know it exists?
Yeah, that's true.
You know what? I'll let you know once I can afford it.
Yeah. See,
I will go there and I'll
it's
take
intentionally expensive, so they make it so that people can't go there.
Oh,
See?
conspiracy.
Fuck. See, I believe now. I think
Now they believe it?
I'm on
You're
board.
on board?
I'm on board.
You've been indoctrinated,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm on board. No, I'm woke as fuck. You guys are the ones that are fucking retarded and now can't go.
Fucking globetards, right?
Yeah.
Jesus. But still, though, if you're a flat earther, come on down, man. We'd like to have a conversation. Maybe
That'd be pretty
change our
fun.
minds. There's I don't know. Worried about it. Maybe now we'll get. I don't know.
I don't know. I think it might be interesting for a little bit, but like I don't know. Well, I'll see what I can find out.
Yeah.
See what I can find out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
that note, man, I don't know, man. Do you guys have anything else to talk about?
Oh, man, there's a lot. There's a lot we didn't cover. There's
There has been a lot.
Yeah, stuff that they found on Mars recently.
Wait, what?
let's
Oh,
bring that
yeah.
up too, yeah.
I saw somebody posted. Once
Some
again,
organisms
Facebook
or-
is my place to go to for my news. Yeah, an article about that.
Yeah.
Right.
I said what they found was the lost Kennedy assassination tapes,
Oh, nice.
and they found a large cache or whatever of socks that are missing the other pair.
From the laundry.
Oh,
Yes.
shit.
From
That's
the
where
dryers.
that's where they go.
They go
That's
to
where
the
they go,
dryers.
dude. They end up in Mars, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, that or I think my cat steals them from the laundry.
I saw.
That was funny, but
The fucking dryer tries to steal them, but the cat's like, no, fuck you. Give this back.
So on a rescue mission.
Yeah,
and
then she
shit.
puts them back in front of our door. She's like, here you go, guys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. How'd you train your cat to do that?
She just does it, dude. It's in her nature.
What?
Chewy was watching it on his projector.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Kind of miss that fucker. What? Yeah, man. God damn it. Chewy, come back, bro. I know California's expensive. I know you're in Texas right now. You know, I want to go to
I'm jealous as
Texas.
fuck.
I am too. actually.
Dude, fucking gas in Florida was fucking it was still on the two.
You know what gas anywhere else besides
right now is
California
crazy.
You know what the fucked up thing though is? And my friend Stretch fucking brought this up, and it didn't make sense to me until I saw it in person. So, if you look at the gas prices, so it was
Closer to the freeway is expensive.
no.
Bro, the other day I paid $4.65 for a premium
No fucking way. Where?
off of 14th Street.
By the mobile?
Right by I think it was at Mobile, at Chevron. Yeah, Mobile. Right by the 91.
Son of a bitch.
Dude,
So
my
check this out.
my dumbass stopped by there to put gas. I didn't check the price first, and I was like, "Oh yeah, just put 40." And I was like, "$4.65? What the?"
So you got like 3 drops for 40
Yeah.
bucks. So check this out. So 87 octane, it was 287, right?
Right.
Then it goes to 289, 322.
Yeah.
And then it goes to 93, which here we usually have 91, 352.
For them over there, that's like, oh my god, what the heck?
Look
is
at the
going
fucking
on?
the jumps in price from regular to premium is fucking insane.
It is not. Yeah.
Here it's like 20 or 30 cents difference.
Cents maybe. Yeah.
There it's fucking, it's a lot
Dollars.
more. That's what he was telling me. He's like, yeah, dude. He's like, on the East Coast, is because he goes on a lot of road trips. I plan on asking him to come down, whenever he fucking has time. This dude's
Is that
always
your
traveling.
photographer?
Yeah.
Well, dude, his photographs are dope. What's his name?
Stretch. Phil Baker.
Phil Baker.
Everybody knows him as Stretch because he's fucking huge.
What's his name on Instagram?
1904 photography.
1904. Yeah, dude, his pictures are dope.
Yeah.
No joke.
So yeah. Hopefully I'll come down. I know he enjoys a good old fashioned. So that'll be the. I guess maybe that'll
Maybe a
be
cocktail episode.
Yeah.
Some old fashioned, some.
I'll ask him because I know he's in San Diego, but
Sazeracs.
But if he he drives all across the fucking. So I don't think he's gonna mind driving from fucking, from here from San Diego to here.
Right.
To hang out.
For a good cocktail and drinks and conversation, man.
Yeah. So yeah, dude. There's a lot we didn't cover. I think but I think it's we're at a pretty good stopping point.
I think so too.
I don't know. We still have to figure out the iPad thing.
Yeah, there's something going on with the Facebook.
And I didn't fucking upload last week's episode because the stupid program is
our audio editing software is took a shit.
Stupid.
We're looking for something else. So
Yeah,
things have been interesting as always.
We're gonna power through this shit and make it work.
We'll figure it out.
So
We'll figure it out. We'll do it live.
we're not quitters.
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
No, we're not.
We are not quitters at all.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't really have anything that I necessarily need to bring up.
All I gotta say is, you know what?
Well, yeah.
Rest in peace to Anthony Bourdain. Rest in peace to Kate Spade. I mean, and if you see someone that you maybe think like, or someone that you don't usually talk to, say hi to them. Say hi to them and ask them how they're doing. Not personally, but just be like, hey, how's your day going, man?
Yeah, I mean, fuck. I caught up with her. I caught up, and it's funny because I was talking to her, and I was like, I know it's not the same as an actual conversation, but hey, just fucking, I haven't talked to you in a while. What's up? Like,
Yeah.
She told me like, she was going through some stuff with personal life and work and that stuff, and what she's trying to do, business. She's trying to start her own business, and
Yeah, dude.
and it's one of those things. It's like, hey, just fucking take the time to talk to. It didn't fucking take me that long. Like, 20, 30 minutes just to fucking talk to somebody that felt like it. They needed to have a conversation with somebody.
And that means the world to someone, man. Just that small, simple gesture of like, hey, like, you matter. I'm still thinking of you.
Plant that seed in their head that, hey, maybe what, like, because that's the thing, is maybe that's the thought, like, oh, maybe the world would be better off without me. No. There's very few cases where that's the case.
The opposite, man. Like,
except for that fucking judge that fucking gave Brock Turner 6 months. Fuck yes,
that guy.
the world would be better without that motherfucker. He can go fuck himself. But no, I guess even maybe he has some redeeming qualities, and maybe he has children or whatever that rely on him to be alive. But he's still a piece of shit, so we can't really, give him too much credit.
He's a piece of shit with family.
But yeah, I mean, shit. Yeah, dude. Fucking try to be better to each other, man. Like, it's one of those things, like we mentioned, we talked about it extensively. It is something that we should bring up. Is everybody has their own fucking struggles. We're all dealing with their own shit.
Yeah. Right.
And maybe just pay attention. Pay attention a little bit to. Don't focus so much on yourself and what's good for you. Just for a fucking week. Try that shit.
Yeah.
Try it for a fucking week.
It's a simple thing. I mean, it's simple.
Just pay attention.
Just pay attention.
Yeah.
Like last time I went hiking with Rebecca. I was saying good morning to everybody, and there's people that weren't saying good morning back. But I don't care. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna say good morning. Smile.
It's funny you say that. When I was in Mexico, man, everybody's like, buenos dias, buenas tardes, buenas noches. You're like, man, I don't hear that shit over here.
No, fuck no.
Are they saying, they just look at you like, what the fuck you want? Like, what I mean?
Like, what? Do I know you?
But it makes a difference.
Are we friends on Facebook? Because your good morning's not real unless we're friends on Facebook.
Oh, that's another fucking shit right there.
But yeah, guys, on that note, Yeah, catch us next week, man. Thank you guys for joining us. If you did join us today, if you didn't, thank you anyways.
One last question.
Yes.
Is this going in there?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So yeah, that's that. We still have to. There's still a couple other ones we want to add to this.
Yes.
Once we do, we'll try it next week. And then we'll go from there. But yeah, overall, I mean, we noticed that it went by.
I know the ice changed it a lot.
It does.
It's
The ice made it better. The ice made it for me.
Ice baby.
Yeah, and it went a lot further than I thought. I didn't think we were gonna drink this much when I first tried it.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. So overall, Las Vegas Distillery, fucking awesome.
Thumbs up, man.
Really good.
Big ups to you.
If you guys run across that stuff, and hell, we'll even look into going and visiting the distillery.
Yes.
It's a cool story, cool guy. Pretty awesome. So,
Rack City, bitch.
yep.
All right, guys. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is really good.
It is good.